When we think of highly intelligent people, we often picture geniuses tucked away in libraries or labs. But the truth is, intelligence isn't always measured by degrees or groundbreaking theories. Sometimes it shows up in subtle, almost unnoticeable habits, like getting emotionally attached to objects, making jokes no one gets, or staying up all night for no clear reason. These small, seemingly odd behaviors can actually be signs of a mind that's constantly firing on all cylinders. Here are 9 surprising signs that might reveal you're more intelligent than you think. 1. Getting attached to objects. When emotions run deep, have you ever said sorry to a table after bumping into it? Or felt oddly guilty throwing away an old pair of socks? These kinds of behaviors might seem amusing, but they say a lot. People with high emotional intelligence often tend to project feelings onto inanimate objects. This phenomenon, called anthropomorphism, isn't a weakness. It reveals a rare ability to show empathy, creativity, and sensitivity. Behind this apparent oddity often lies a mind that perceives the world with more nuance than most. 2. Niche humor. When your jokes need a translator. If your jokes often end in awkward silence or with a never mind, it's an obscure reference. It might not be that you're bad at humor, maybe you're just ahead of the room. Highly intelligent people often have a more complex sense of humor, built on wordplay, subtle irony, or niche cultural references. The result? They end up laughing alone in a world where humor tends to work on a more basic level. But better an unappreciated joke than a mind that holds back. 3. Endless nights. When thoughts keep you awake. It's 2 a.m., everyone is asleep except you. Not because you're stressed or binge-watching a show, but simply because your brain is wide awake. Many studies show that high-potential individuals tend to be more intellectually active at night. That's when ideas surface, deep reflections unfold, and creativity flows. This unusual rhythm isn't a flaw, it's just that some brilliant minds work best when the world goes quiet. 4. Master of planning, expert in ignoring the plan. Have you ever spent an entire afternoon crafting the perfect schedule? A productivity system worthy of your own personal NASA, only to forget all about it the next day? Don't worry, it's not laziness. In fact, it's often a sign of a brilliant mind. Highly intelligent people love creating structures, tools, and methods. What excites them isn't necessarily sticking rigidly to the plan, but the intellectual joy of designing it. The brain acts like an architect. It builds with brilliance, then moves on to the next project, without necessarily laying the first brick. 5. The quiet that follows the crowd. After a party or a long conversation, some people want an after party, others need a decompression chamber. If you feel an urgent need to be alone after being around others, it doesn't mean you're antisocial, it means your brain is processing deeply. Highly intelligent individuals are often very sensitive to social stimulation. They analyze, decode, observe, feel, and over time it can become exhausting. Being alone is how they recharge their mental batteries. It's not avoidance, it's maintenance. 6. Delaying the start, mastering the finish. You have 2 weeks for a project, yet nothing happens until the final 2 hours? And as the deadline approaches, everything suddenly clicks into place. You enter a productive trance and deliver something amazing? This pattern is more common among fast-thinking minds than you'd expect. These brains often need time pressure to cut through distractions and access a state of intense focus, sometimes called flow. It's not disinterest, it's an unconscious strategy to activate full capacity when it matters most. 7. Questioning everything, because why not? If your first instinct when faced with a rule, a fact, or even a long-standing habit is to ask, "But why?" Congratulations. You have one of the most common traits among highly intelligent people. While many seek ready-made answers, you seek to understand the core, to explore, to verify things for yourself. It's not about being difficult or provocative. It's simply a sign of deep intellectual curiosity. These minds don't just go with the flow. They want to know where the river comes from, why it flows, and whether there might be another path. This kind of mental defiance might unsettle some, but it's the fuel behind every great idea. 8. Promises to read the instructions, then skips them. You get a new piece of furniture or a gadget, and your first move is to toss aside the manual? No, that's not laziness. Quite the opposite, it's a drive to test, to figure things out independently, to take things apart without following a predefined guide. Many high-potential individuals have a particular relationship with instructions. They prefer exploration over repetition, experimentation over obedience. This trait, which might be mistaken for arrogance, is actually a strong cognitive need to build their own logic, even if it means dismantling a coffee machine 3 times before getting it right. 9. Social discomfort, the mind signal of overload. Have you ever rehearsed your coffee order 5 times in your head, only to jumble it all up when it's your turn? Or spent 10 minutes replaying a completely normal conversation, wondering if your smile looked too forced? Welcome to the world of overactive minds. Far from being bad at socializing, these people overanalyze, anticipate, second-guess, and mentally recalculate everything. Every gesture, every word is scrutinized. It's not a lack of confidence, it's an overflow of mental activity. Newton, Einstein, Turing, all were socially awkward. Yet it's hard to deny their genius. That social gap is often the price of a mind trying to decode everything, even the nuances of nonverbal communication. Recognizing yourself in one or more of these habits doesn't necessarily mean you have an IQ of 150, or that you're destined for a Nobel Prize. Intelligence is a complex, multifaceted phenomenon that can't be boiled down to test scores or isolated behaviors. Many of these traits, like procrastinating, avoiding small talk, or craving solitude, can show up in all kinds of people for a variety of reasons. What gets truly interesting is when several of these signs appear together, especially when paired with genuine intellectual curiosity, heightened sensitivity, or a way of thinking that breaks from the norm. It's not about labeling yourself, but about understanding how your mind works, how you engage with the world, and what really sparks your interest. Intelligence doesn't always look like what we imagine. It doesn't necessarily wear glasses, collect degrees, or spend its days immersed in complicated books. Sometimes it takes the form of awkward silences, sleepless nights, abandoned plans, or jokes no one understands. And that's precisely what makes it so interesting. So don't try to fit into a box. Try to better understand how you function. And if this content has helped you light a small inner light, then you're already on the right path. Tell me in the comments which habits resonate most with you, or which ones you've noticed in others, without ever understanding why. If you learned something new, give this a like, and most importantly, subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. We explore topics like this all the time, and who knows, the next post might just prove you're even smarter than you thought.